A gun rights group showed up at the Capitol today with 500 public records requests. The group, called SCOPE, or Shooters Committee on Political Education, claims the SAFE Act illegally tracks and stores confidential medical information. At issue, the SAFE Act's requirement that healthcare workers report people they believe are a danger. That data is kept in a database called ISARS. SCOPE wants to access that database to see exactly what information the state is keeping.
And the state's position is that they're trying to do something innovative. Our response is, I'm not looking for innovative, I want constitutional. This is a violation of 2nd, 4th, 5th, 14th, and privacy rights.
SCOPE, this gun rights group, claims all of the records in the ISAR system, less than 1% belong to licensed gun owners. Joining us now to talk about it, our political analyst, New York Post political columnist Fred Dicker. So, Fred, bring us up to speed on this story. What are you hearing?
Well, the last few days, there's been a lot of talk about rolling back some of the provisions of the SAFE Act. The Senate Republicans have passed legislation like that yesterday, that it doesn't appear to be going anywhere. And with just a few days remaining in the legislative session, these pro-Second Amendment groups, the gun right groups, feel that there's some leverage now. The New York City types who are responsible for passing the SAFE Act, Cody, want that New York City rent regulations, the rent freeze laws, the rent control laws as they're called, passed. So the argument by these gun groups is that the Senate Republicans ought to leverage the desire of the Democrats to get these rent laws renewed to get some rollback on the SAFE Act, along with other things that they're interested in. That's why the press conference was held today. Whether their Freedom of Information requests are going to produce any results, though, is certainly problematic. This administration, Governor Cuomo's administration, really has become notorious for not responding, certainly with any speed, to Freedom of Information requests.
Well, as we know, the SAFE Act has come under fire, for lack of a better term, time and time again. You mentioned a little bit of action in the Senate. Tell us a little bit about that. And, you know, in a democratically controlled assembly, would this bill ever even pass?
Well, it won't. And interestingly enough, the fact that the Senate passed some rollback yesterday has less to do with gun control laws or a belief in reducing some of the terms of the SAFE Act than it does with trying to save some of the Senate Republicans from upstate New York. Most of the upstate Republicans voted against the SAFE Act. The Long Island and downstate Republicans voted for it. Now you just had this leadership fight for control of the Senate Majority Leadership fight won by a downstater, John Flanagan. He's trying to help a few of these upstate senators like Hugh Farley from Schenectady, who were on the wrong side of that in the view of the Second Amendment people by supporting Flanagan, who had supported the SAFE Act, and opposing John DeFrancisco from Syracuse, who was trying to become the majority leader. He had voted against the SAFE Act. That's a little complicated. Bottom line is, though, the action in the Senate yesterday was involved more about internal Republican politics than it did any commitment to try to get increased Second Amendment rights here in New York.
All right. Well, there's not a lot of time left in the session, so they'll be exercising their politics only for a couple more weeks. Sure. Fred, thanks so much. A reminder, you can hear Fred's radio program live from the state capitol every weekday morning from 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM.